So you just take this one and light, light that.
That's nice. I like that.
That's all.
Deep breath.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our snow day. You all made it here. That's great. My name is Sam Baumgarten, big surprise, and I am your lay worship leader for today's service. I warmly welcome you to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. This week we were to have a guest minister, Joanna Lubkin. She is unable to be here today due to a last-minute family emergency. So we are carrying on the service. Fortunately, she had her entire service printed out. So we are able to do all of the readings as well as the sermon, and pretty much will carry on as she had hoped if she was here. We have ushers today. Pat is taking my place because I'm usually an usher on the second week of the month, and Rachel was helping out in the back, and while Debbie ran home to get the menorah, so we got it all working. Coffee hour today, we have kids in the kitchen, and Luella and Janet Dye helping out with that. So we're hoping that will be great at the end of our service. We have several announcements this morning. I'll ask Victoria to come up first before I forget.
I have a few announcements and requests regarding receptions after our next upcoming services because the schedule is different than it normally is, so we have some different requests. So next Sunday is our winter solstice service, which will be at 4 p.m. And we are going to have a little reception coffee hour afterwards, but just wanted to mention that the service is at 4 p.m. We will not be having a service at 10:30 a.m. like we usually do. So if you are attending our solstice service and want to bring a festive... Oh, Janet has a sign-up sheet. Janet signed up? Okay, never mind. But feel free to bring something small. So next up is Christmas Eve, which is going to be December 23rd at 7:30 p.m. So if you are interested in attending, please bring a sweet or a dip or an appetizer if you would like. Our next service, which is also a different schedule than usual, is going to be the December 28th, and that's our New Year's Eve blessing service, which is at 4 p.m. And we are going to have a little reception afterwards. If you're interested in bringing an appetizer, an hors d'oeuvre, a celebratory non-alcoholic beverage to do something kind of festive and celebrate the new year together, it would be much appreciated. Let me know if you have any questions. Or Debbie, because she has more answers than I do. Okay. And there is a sign-up sheet on the table in the upper parish hall for signing up to bring treats and celebratory non-alcoholic beverages. Thank you.
I have a couple of announcements from Janet about the Polar Plunge, which is usually sponsored by our local Rotary Club. And it is again this year. It's the 8th annual Polar Plunge. It'll be at Onset, Massachusetts, 8:30 in the morning. And the part of the proceeds from that Polar Plunge, whatever donations people are able to make, will go to Shelter Box, local food pantries, and libraries. So if you're interested in getting wet on January 1, it's to support Janet. So Janet is one of the plungers, so I guess you make your donations in support of Janet plunging, but I think they all deserve so. And then, we got lots of paper up here. host, well, you already said it about coffee hour, so I can eliminate that one. And then there was one more from Janet. Please hang in there a moment. There will be some last-minute gifts available from the array of fairly traded chocolate, olive oil, dried mango, and tea at our table when we gather after the service. So if you're looking for fair traded items, again, look for Janet after the service. Anybody else have anything they want to share? If not, we will have our prelude. Just slightly out of order. First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. Love is the power that holds us together. We live our faith values by welcoming all people with love and open hearts. No matter who you are, no matter who you love, no matter where you are in your spiritual path, you are welcome here. If you are joining us for the first time today, we welcome you to share in our worship today as your whole self. We also encourage you to fill out the guest book at the back of the sanctuary. For newcomers joining us online, please see the sign-up link posted in the Zoom chat. The recording camera is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and sorrows. In the event of an emergency, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors in the rear, or if you need a ramp, through the School Street entrance to my left, your right. Since we have had the prelude, we will now have the chalice lighting. I'll ask Rin, please, to come up and light our chalice. And then Rin will also light the candles for the third week of Advent. The third candle is for joy. And we will do our chalice lighting words. We light our chalice
to mark this sacred hour, as we gather in this beautiful historic sanctuary, both in body and spirit. We connect to the many generations that have come here to explore the divine, and let us join our hearts and find holy in our relationship to each other. It is time to share worship together.
Thank you, Rin. Please rise in body or spirit, and let's join our voices for the affirmation of our covenant and the aspiration.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let's all
We have opening words which were designed and ready for presentation by Reverend Joanna, and I will read these. This is a prayer adapted from Rabbi Brant Rosen in honor of Hanukkah, which begins tonight. We light these lights for the instigators and the refusers, the obstinate and unyielding, for the ones who kept marching, for the ones who tended the fires, for the ones who would not bow down. We light these lights for the sparks that guide us on through the gentle night, for the darkness that swaddles us, its soft embrace, until the moment we inevitably emerge into life renewed. We light these lights for the spirit of resilience that remains after our strength has ebbed away, for the steadfast knowledge that even when bullets echo in streets or masked officials have stolen people away, that the impunity of the powerful cannot last forever. These lights will never be used for any other purpose but to proclaim the miracle of this truth. It is not by might nor by cruelty, but by a love that burns relentlessly, that this broken world will be redeemed. So may it be for us and for our world. The holiday won't begin until we see 3 stars in the sky tonight, but I want to give us a chance to honor the holiday this morning. So we'll kick things off a little early. In the order of service, there are some blessings listed. I will read through them, even though the holiday actually has not begun. And I'll do my best on the Hebrew. You're welcome to join me if you'd like. Baruch atah Adoshem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Arshe kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu, lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adoshem, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu, bayomim hahem, bazman hazeh. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings moments of holiness to our lives through the ritual of lighting the Hanukkah lights. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings our attention to miracles from ages past to this very moment. Rachel will light the first candle for tonight, and we have on the far right is the candle called the Shamus, which is the leader, and that candle is used to light all of the others during the holiday. Each night another candle is added, and you light them from right to left. So you light the newest one first and then the next one until the 8 nights are done. And I have to share a little joke with you. There was a little Facebook post yesterday about someone saying, look, my cell phone died, but it lasted for 8 nights. Okay, this is a tough morning, as you know. Opening hymn, light 1 candle number 221. Please join us, rise in body or spirit.
Thank you.
folks to head downstairs and we'll sing them out. Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come to the front to light a candle. Please share briefly but fully into the microphone so that all may hear you. You may also choose to light a candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share by typing joys and sorrows in the chat, and a volunteer in the sanctuary will read them aloud.
I have a pastoral prayer sent to us by our preacher who is supposed to be here today. It's a pastoral prayer by Mark Stringer. As the year winds down to its close and we are submerged once again in the seasonal darkness that we have come to know so well, we have reason to think back upon the year that was, if only because it will soon be gone. We think back to the friends we have made, the sorrow we have endured, the love we have found, the loneliness we have survived. We think back to the blessings of being forgiven and the gift we offered to ourselves when we forgave. We think back to those who listened to us in our times of need and the times we could have listened more. We think back to the things we traded for our time and to what we may have overlooked in the process. We think back to the times when we were afraid and uncertain, and we trudged ahead anyway, and the times when we were compassionate when we would have been cold, when we could have been cold. In the season of long nights, may we see more clearly against the dark backdrop of our living the true light of our lives, the love we give to others, and the love and the peace we nurture in others, in ourselves. Let us be in shared silence.
Our musical meditation will be number 159. You may remain seated. This is my song. Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of the church and the mission of a community organization that shares our values. This month, our contribution to our collection is going to BRAGLY, Brockton Alliance for GLBT Youth. It's a program of health imperatives. Their youth-led, adult-advised Brockton area gay lesbian youth program meets weekly to provide support, discussion, leadership development, health education, housing, search assistance, counseling, and life skills development. Bragley leaders, peer leaders, are paid and gain leadership skills and work experience. If you wish to write a check to donate to this group, as well as our church, in the memo line, please put in the letters BRAGLY, and this is all in your order of service. The offering will now be given and received gratefully.
Today's responsive reading is by Amanda Otis Kessler. It is in your order of service. So I will read the first line. You guys will read the italicized lines. We light the Hanukkah candles in wonder, joy, and gratitude. Each candle is a miracle.
When the Holy Temple was rededicated at the time of the Maccabean liberation battle, only 1 day's worth of oil remained, yet it burned for 8 days. So we light candles in remembrance.
We rededicate ourselves to the miracle of light in a season of darkness.
To the miracle of trust in a time of anxiety.
To the miracle of hope in a time of despair.
To the miracle of faith in a time of cynicism.
We rededicate ourselves to the miracle of wholeness in a time of fracture.
To the miracle of courage in a time of fear.
To the miracle of resistance in a time of oppression.
To the miracle of peace in a time of violence.
And in a time of hatred, we rededicate ourselves to the miracle of love.
This sermon was written by our intended guest speaker, Joanna Lubkin, who wishes she could be here with us this morning. She gave her blessing on us reading this aloud in her stead. Any first-person sentences, Joanna is the I, not me. While I've always found Hanukkah to be a fun holiday, the past few years, buying my Hanukkah candles has become more emotionally fraught. I get these flashbacks to setting up candles with my dad when I was young. Year after year, I'd tell him what we learned in Hebrew school. Dad, we're supposed to put the menorah in the window for everyone to see. It says so right in the Talmud. We're supposed to publicize our miracle. But he always said no, not wanting to mark our house as a Jewish home. He was afraid of anti-Semitism. I rolled my eyes. I'd never experienced it in my suburban New Hampshire town. I thought we were past it and he was just being paranoid. These past few years, though, and then waking up this morning to hear about a mass shooting at a Hanukkah celebration in Australia. It's a scary time to be Jewish, as it is scary to hold so many targeted identities. I know that this fear is nothing new. My Jewish studies undergraduate degree felt like 50% learning about persecution, but I'd been privileged enough not to experience it close to home. It's remarkable how quickly that ancestral fear kicked in, like it was just waiting in my genome, passed on along with my curly hair from ancestors who fled persecution after persecution. I'm far more conscious now when I put my menorah in my window or wear a kippah out doing errands. One of my colleagues, Fred Small, is a climate activist, clergy person, and folk singer. Every Hanukkah, I think of one of his songs called Not in Our Town. We'll be reading the lyrics aloud throughout the sermon, telling the true story of events in Billings, Montana in 1993. Here's how it begins.
When the Klan came to Montana, they made no grand parade, no hooded knights on horseback, no banners boldly raised, hate mail and bomb threats, midnight telephone calls, white power and swastikas spray painted on the wall. 5-year-old Isaac woke screaming in the gloom. Mommy, there's a man at my window looking into my room. Son, there's nothing out there but shadows branches make. The little boy went back to sleep. His parents lay awake. For Isaac's bedroom window showed their faith for all to see. The candles of the menorah stood for hope and memory. The next night, out of the darkness, a cinder block was hurled. It shattered Isaac's window and the boundaries of his world. One moment of conviction, one voice quiet and clear, one act of compassion, it all begins here. No safety now in silence, we've got to stand our ground. No hate, no violence, not in our town.
This story, and the moment we're living through, leads me to 2 lessons and 2 pieces of hope: defiance and allyship. For those of us with identities under threat, sometimes resistance looks like pride. I invite you to think of someone you know personally whose courage inspires you. I think of my grandmother, Gloria Lubkin, who passed away in 2020, who went into physics at a time when very few women were in the sciences. So many people tried to turn her away or denied her jobs or passed her over for promotions, and yet she persevered. She studied physics at Temple University, got her master's degree in nuclear physics from BU. She joined Physics Today magazine in 1963 as an associate editor, eventually becoming the magazine's editor-in-chief. She was a Nieman Fellow at Harvard University. I could go on. Growing up, I took this all for granted. Didn't other people try to have conversations at the dinner table about super colliders? or tell stories about the Nobel laureates she was friends with and or dated. But the older I get and the more questions I think to ask about her stories, the more I understand her as a trailblazer. Although we went into very different lines of work, I look to her example as a woman committed to following her passions regardless of what society has to say about it. Or perhaps we can find inspiration from activists who catalyzed a movement. Maybe we think of the drag queens of Stonewall, who, 55 years ago, held their ground against a police raid of their gay bar. As some of you may have experienced firsthand, the 60s were generally not a welcoming time for LGBT folks in the United States. Many folks sought refuge in gay bars and clubs as some of the only places they could express themselves openly and connect with other gay folks without fear. But it was also pretty commonplace for the police to raid gay bars in New York City after cops would tip off the mafia who often owned the bars. In fact, Stonewall had been raided just a few days before, but on June 28, 1969, the police came back without a tip-off. Armed with a warrant, police officers entered the club, roughed up patrons, and, after finding bootlegged alcohol, arrested 13 people, including employees and people violating the state's gender-appropriate clothing statute. Fed up with constant police harassment and social discrimination, angry patrons and neighborhood residents hung around outside of the bar rather than disperse, becoming increasingly agitated as the events unfolded and people were aggressively manhandled. Rather than go away meekly, people like the drag queen Marsha P. Johnson, the butch lesbian Stormy DeLarvery, and the 17-year-old trans woman Sylvia Rivera fought back. Their refusal to be cowed for who they were and who they loved sparked riots and demonstrations for days afterwards, and its legacy helped galvanize the LGBTQ movement around political activism. Danny Garvin, who was also part of the riots, told NPR that before Stonewall, we never realized how connected we were as a community. He said, "It didn't matter if you were a drag queen, or if you were a leather queen, or if you were just a young kid, or if you were an older person over 30, which makes me feel a little targeted. We were all fighting for a right to get back into the bar, to be able to dance, to not be oppressed. For all of us with identities at risk, what would it feel like to have a fire in our eyes that says, 'I won't cower. I will shine my light brightly'? Who can you look to who's showing that radiant determination right now?"
The cop was not unfriendly. He said, "Ma'am, if I were you, I'd take down that menorah and the Star of David too." Isaac's mother, Tammy, said, "I'm sure that's good advice, but how then can I ever look my children in the eye?" Then at their doorway, a little girl did stand, a gift for her schoolmate in her outstretched hand. A menorah drawn in crayon from a gentile to a Jew. It read to Isaac from Rebecca, "I'm sorry this happened to you." One moment of conviction, one voice quiet and clear, one act of compassion, it all begins here. No safety now in silence, we've got to stand our ground. No hate, no violence, not in our town.
And for those with more privileged identities, don't let us go it alone. My friends in the Boston Immigration Justice Accompaniment Network say, "We fight for one another like family because we are." It's as simple as that. On Rosh Hashanah a few years ago, I went to my little neighborhood synagogue in JP and found some of my friends standing outside. I looked closer and realized they were my Christian and UU clergy colleagues, taking shifts as part of a community safety team, keeping an eye out while we prayed inside. It was incredibly beautiful. That is allyship in action. When I worked as a chaplain at Wellesley College, which is where I met Reverend Rosemary, back when she was a student leader in the campus UU group, There was a day the chaplains came in to find anti-Muslim graffiti had appeared in our chapel. Students came by the dozens, students of different faiths, many students who'd never entered the chapel before, wanting to show support. We pulled out craft supplies, and students stayed for hours, making messages like, "Courage, my friends, you do not walk alone," and "We're so glad you're here." Muslim students arrived for Friday prayers to find their prayer room surrounded by love notes. When the Tree of Life shooting happened not long after, Muslim students reciprocated so quickly, and Jewish students walked in to see notes saying "Shalom" and "We are with you." In that span of 5 months, I was helping students select quotes from the Quran and the Torah that their classmates might find comforting, and watched as students' eyes filled with tears as they walked into their sacred space to find reminders of how loved they were. I'm inspired by communities right now responding to protect their neighbors threatened by ICE, showing up to document and intervene and protest and hold vigil with people power and occasionally inflatable costumes. Inspired by Israeli Jews and international peace activists who go into the West Bank to help Palestinian civilians harvest their olive crops, to help protect against violence from soldiers and nationalistic settlers, which is increasing at an alarming amount. Inspired by communities who responded as quickly and generously as they could to share food and resources when SNAP benefits weren't delivered last month. And inspired by school children who see another kid getting picked on and who hurry to befriend and stick up for them. It reminds me of what the former UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, often said: "This is no time for a casual faith, and this is no time to go it alone." My friends, when things are dark and fearful, let us refuse to hide the light that we carry. When we see our family being pushed into the shadows, let us join them in the dark. I have faith that every time we light our menorah, anytime we bring warmth and light, the flame will begin to grow. Let us kindle it together.
Margaret MacDonald called her pastor on the phone. This time, the Jews would not face their foes alone. We'll make paper menorahs and display them from our homes. We'll show the bigots there are more of us than they have stones. Shopkeepers handed out menorahs by the score. Children in their Sunday schools colored dozens more. Though in the town of Billings lived not 100 Jews, menorahs now were everywhere, on every avenue. Through the drifting snow, Tammy drove her children round, menorahs by the thousands in the windows of the town. "Are all these people Jewish?" asked Isaac as they went. "No," his mother answered, they are your friends." One moment of conviction, one voice quiet and clear, one act of compassion, it all begins here. No safety now in silence, we've got to stand our ground. No hate, no violence, not in our town. No hate, no violence, not in our town. Okay. Would you all join us for our closing hymn, number 223, Rock of Ages.
words of benediction are by James Morrison. Within each of our hearts there is a most glorious light. Go forth and let its spark help you understand what troubles both you and others. Go forth and let its light of reason be a guide in your decisions. Go forth and bring its ray of hope to those in need of help in both body and spirit, that they may find healing. Go forth and fan the flames of passion to help heal our world. Go forth and spread the warm glow of love, pushing back the darkness of the world. Go forth and share your glorious light with the world. Let us sing threefold Amen.
Rin, can you make it back up here? Put the light out. Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame,
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you. Our time of worship has ended, and our time of fellowship now begins. If you would like to stay for coffee hour, please make your way to the upper parish hall. If you need any assistance with the elevator, please let us know. And remember, do not come here at 10:30 next Sunday. No service. Come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. See you out there.